Hey everybody, Forbidden Exile here, and welcome to a new video. My Toxic Rain build didn't get messed with, so that's good. Obviously, Grace and Determination got split and cut in half, so we'll see how that plays out. New base types and stuff like that they added to the game. We'll find out how that works when the league launches, obviously. But this is, I'm going to say, Subtractum's Frostblink Fire Trap Elementalist. I saw him play this a few leagues ago, probably 4 or so leagues ago, and loved it so much. It's such a cheap build. It does take a couple uniques to really get going, but you can use it pretty early on, and it's such a great build. It does so much damage for very little investment. So as usual, we'll go over the gear, we'll go over the gems, we'll go over the skill tree, and then we'll go over to Path of Building. All right, so the first thing, the Searing Touch gives you just phenomenal things for, fire spells. You get fire damage over time multi, you get increased fire damage. The cast speed doesn't really do any good, but plus 2 level of all fire spell skill gems. It's a phenomenal, such a low budget, unique item. Doesn't need to be 6 length. It's just really, I use this for utilities, right? It's probably the best unique, low budget unique in the game for this build. After this, you would get some sort of crafted scepter, dual wielding scepters, or 1 scepter and a shield, depending on how you do it. I do have those, and I'll show those as well. Eye of Malice, you get chance to inflict cold exposure, fire exposure, and they have increased cold and fire resistance, which is reversed, because it technically increases the negative resistance, right? So you add to a negative, if that makes sense. And you get some fire and cold resin evasion on there as well. And energy shield, which you will be using Eldritch Battery. So you do need energy shield on your gear or somewhere. Probably you'll need more than 137, right? So try to get it somewhere else on your gear so that you can use all the skills. Ring, so the Sapphire Ring gets more cold res, more fire res. Insane amount of burning damage. You get 40% cold converted to fire damage. And then ignited enemies killed by your hits are destroyed. You can technically run 2 of these before you get the cold to fire support, which would be in the later stage, not full end game, but not league start version, and that will give you, almost, you can pretty much get to 100% cold converted to fire that way. As you can see, I'm just running a regular Tabula, nothing special on it. Use rare body armor. The high end version is a pretty niche one that I bought a few leagues ago, and I'll show that to you later. The ring, you're going to need strength, you're going to need chaos res, obviously any kind of res that you need. Try to get life on as much gear as you can. For the amulet, really it's just res, and attributes, got a little bit of spell damage on there, and then crafted trap throwing speed. It's not mandatory. Just the faster you can throw a fire trap, the better. Gloves, chaos res, spell suppression. Try to go for 100% spell suppression as fast as you can. Try to worry about chaos res as well, obviously, because chaos damage sucks. And then for this one, for the implicits, do fire exposure on hit, and then you can do trap throwing speed. That's what I prefer, just so I can get fire traps out faster. Yeah, it's crappy rolled, right? It's got like I think it has actually T1 lightning res on it, but T2 spell suppression. The rest of the armor, the rest of the stats are pretty much trash. Another belt with just res, some life. It's the only thing that one's good for. Same thing, res, spell suppression. The chance to be chilled and frozen doesn't matter because you're running period of elements. Ignites you, inflict deal damage faster, because when you frostblink stuff, you ignite stuff and it'll burn and die behind you, basically. And scorched ground, just while you're walking around, scorching things is good. Yeah, just res, move speed, and suppression. So for the flasks, we got a Divine Life Flask of Elaine. Recovers about 1800 life over 1.5 seconds. You just want to recover as much life as fast as possible. And then immunity to bleeding and corrupted blood. And then for these, it's just kind of what I thought might be best for survivability. I've got the Sapphire, the Ruby, and the Topaz Flask to get my res, max res up to at least like 80. And then just block and stun recovery, because that's what I rolled on this one. Then a Quicksilver Flask with chance to free shock and ignite. Ruby Flask with evasion. And then a Topaz Flask with armor. We're not running Determination, we're just running Grace, but just a little bit of physical damage mitigation. I'm trying to play as much as I can with how the league will be, right? So there's not going to be any kind of fizz converted to fire or fizz converted elemental mitigation that way, because that's pretty much gone from the game aside from uniques. All right, so as far as the gems goes, you can see I got a decent amount of empty gem sockets here. I've got period of elements in here, just a leap slam for a little bit more movability. Self-casting flammability, and then as far as Frostblink goes, So the effectiveness of added damage is 250 at level 20. However, it actually scales now. It didn't scale before. That's what they did to a lot of the gems, where it actually starts at a lower level at level 1. It's not just a flat 250 and it stays that way. So it will feel a little weaker than it has in the past if you played this build before. But once you get it to level 20, you'll get the 250% effectiveness of added damage. So link that to Ignite Proliferation because we don't have proliferation on our gloves. And then Life Tap and Deadly Ailments because we literally have no mana. As far as Fire Trap goes, right, so you got Fire Trap, linked to Inspiration for reduced mana cost, reduced energy shield cost technically, and plus because you're using elemental skills, you get elemental damage. Another Ignite Proliferation, burning damage, Swift Affliction, and Combustion. You can see, you know, Ignite Proliferation is only at level 7. My gloves, I literally just have Grace in there. Then over here, Molten Shell, casting damage, taking support. I'm not using Determination, so it might seem kind of weird, but it's just, you know, just a little bit of help. And then Vitality and Skitterbots to chill and shock. That's it. Right. Might seem kind of like a weird combination. I literally just kind of threw this together, ran some tier 16 maps to see how it went, and it worked great. Right. It's really just the skill. It's the glove, or the helmet, and the Searing Touch. Those two items are just, they're so incredible for early league, if you can get them, obviously. If you can't, the build will still work. It'll just feel a little weaker until you get at least one of these. Alright, so the skill tree, you're an Elementalist, right? So you're going to take Heart of Destruction to gain Convergence, increase area of effect. You're going to take Bastion of Elements to get that Primal Aegis to help take elemental damage, and you can't take Reflected Elemental Damage, which helps so much in map mods. And then just Shaper Flame, so everything ignites. And then you do 25% more damage with ignites you inflict with hits, for which the highest type damage is fire, and everything is converted to fire, or the majority of your damage is converted to fire, so that will always proc. So you're kind of going all over the skill tree here. Come up here and take fire damage, you know, life, mana reservation, damage over time, fire damage over time multiplier, mana reservation, life, fire damage, area of effect. What was that one? More fire damage, trap damage, damage over time, skill effect duration, trap damage, recover life when your trap is triggered by an enemy. That's a really good one. So if you're not using a tabula and you're using an evasion-based skill, then this one will give you an extra 15%, obviously. And I come up here, take Mage Bane to get more spell suppression to try to get spell suppression capped. Profane Chemistry, more mana reservation efficiency from Charisma, and then this spell suppression wheel right here. That's it, right? Literally no jewels. I probably should. I have one empty slot here. I should put a Corrupted Blood Jewel in there as well. And obviously, Eldritch Battery. If you don't know what Eldritch Battery does, it converts all of your energy shield over here on your life, over here. That's why it's here. And then your skills, Fire Traps right here. Skills use energy shield instead of mana. Super helpful, right? Also some pretty cool MTXs right here, right? I think it's a Void one or something like that. And then the Fire Trap one's actually pretty cool. Or the Frostblink one, actually. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. Very simple build. And we'll go over to Path of Building right now. And then once we do Path of Building for this version of the build, then I'll come back and we'll show you kind of the higher end version of the gear. And then we'll run just a tier 16 map with this gear that I have on. All right, so Path of Building, 1.3 million DPS with Fire Trap, and then 959,000 DPS with Frostblink on pretty much day one gear. I don't know very many other builds that can get this high of damage on pretty much trash gear. The Searing Touch, Eye of Malice, Pyre, they're very commonly found unique items. I don't know why it works the way it does, but you know, shout out to Subtractum again for that one. Oh yeah, so you know, you're doing about 1 million DPS on garbage gear. Configuration, in case it doesn't import, if you import the Path of Building, you're using Life Tap, Convergence, highest damage type, override is fire. Burn and Ignited, they are exposed to fire. That's it, right? Guardian Pinnacle bosses. Not Ubers, we're not doing Ubers with this by any means. This is a significant amount of damage for such a low investment early on. As far as not full on end game, you know, clearing T17s with this or anything, but an end game version of the build. These are kind of your options right here. So you do have Corrupted Eye of Malice, still using that. You can get one with increased burning damage, which will help obviously. Watcher's Eye, you can get something like this. It's pretty expensive, but damage over time multiplier with Malevolence. Gain 30 life per enemy hit while affected by Vitality. And then with the Ancestral Vision, what you'll do is you'll get to 100% spell suppression. Then you use boots like this, which all you do is you use Deafening Essences of Loathing. You avoid elemental ailments, do the implicit to get 20%, and then bam, you're at 100% elemental ailment avoidance and 100% spell suppression. Super nice. As far as the weapons go, right, once you replace the Searing Touch, you can do double scepters. These are just kind of ones that I've had and kind of crafted for Righteous Fire. The Righteous Fire scepters work hand in hand with this. Technically, Righteous Fire doesn't gain anything from level of gems anymore, but it is what it is, right? Fire Trap does. So you could dual wield scepters, or you could do one scepter and something like this, get more max chaos res, more fire damage, a little bit of critical strike chance, another fire spell, skill gem level, and then just craft whatever you want on it. As far as body armor goes, I do have 3 options here, right? So the Tinkerskin Status Garb is super cheap, right? I've had this one. It's corrupted with reduced extra damage from critical strikes. I had it in my, I think, like 100 Chaos tab for a long time, and I was just looking for a 6th link, and I found this. I completely forgot I had it, but it's a phenomenal body armor for traps. Cooldown recovery of throwing traps, gain a frenzy charge, gain phasing, recover life, and you recover energy shield. Like, I don't know why more people don't use this for trap builds, but it's pretty sweet. Low budget body armor. So you can see here, obviously this isn't standard, but in this one right here, there's none with this corruption on it, but it's, you know, too divine, right? Cloak of Flame, another reduced 50% extra damage from critical strikes. I've been using this one since 3.23. I've had it, I had it in League in 3.23, and then I've been using it in 3.24 as well, in Standard. This is one of the few ways you're going to be able to get Fizz taken as an elemental damage going forward in 325. So Cloak of Flame is probably going to be one of those mandatory uniques, same as Lightning Coil, to convert physical damage to elemental damage. This one's kind of the mother load. I bought this, yeah, like I said, probably 4 leagues ago, maybe. Nobody's ever bought it. I don't know. It's perfectly colored for Fire Trap. I don't know why nobody's bought it, but yeah, a Skin of the Lords with +2 level of socketed gems, get 100% global defense, and it has Eldritch Battery on it, so it'll actually save you 1, 2, 3, 4 skill points. So you can do somewhere else. That's what it is, right? I don't think there's any with Eldritch Battery. Yes, but color-wise, probably not. Right? That's probably these 100 Divines ones down here. So if you can find one of those, you know, by all means, snatch it up early in the league if you can afford it, because that one will definitely help you out with the level of socketed gems and that global defenses. However, you won't get evasion on your body armor, so you can't get 100% spell suppression as easily. You can take those 4 points and invest them somewhere else, and you should still be able to get to 100% spell suppression. As far as the belt goes, you can definitely use a Mage Blood. It's always viable, obviously. Or just, you know, get a Stygian Vise or something like that. More res, blast charges gained is always helpful when you're not using a Mage Blood. As far as gloves go for your Frostblink, so in the higher budget version, you don't actually use Frostblink anywhere except for these gloves. So what you do is you get Deafening Essences of Delirium, or Essence of Delirium technically, right? Which gives you these socketed gems, deal 30% damage over time. What I did is I just spammed them until I got spell suppression. Got lucky, got some life, rarity, and some res. That's it. That's all you need. Put Frostblink in there, and your damage goes up so much, right? That's 30% more damage. Amulet, you can definitely use Replica Dragon's Fang. The gem level of Frostblink does increase the damage by a pretty significant amount, right? So what we're going to do, we'll just go into Path of Building real quick, and we'll just put this Replica Dragon Fang in there, and Frostblink, you get another 39% increased damage just from those 3 gem levels. And you get mana reservation, more res, stuff like that. Very significant. Alright, so we're just going to run a random white T16 Cemetery Map. you shouldn't really be running T16 maps on this garbage of gear, but you can. Right. Single target damage at this level isn't super great, but it's definitely doable. If you don't know how Frostblink works, you can read it in the description of the gem. But basically, the cooldown of it is based on... Oh, getting stunned sucks. The cooldown of it is based on the type of monster that you Frostblink into. So if you Frostblink into a rare monster, the cooldown is going to speed up a lot, as you can see down here. If you just Frostblink alone, it's pretty slow. If you Frostblink into like a rare mob, it speeds up a little bit. It's based on how many monsters too are around you, right? It's a huge group of magic or rare monsters. You can pretty much use it instantly. Like this group right here, it'll instantly come back up. Let's try and get through here and as I said, you shouldn't really be running this on a T16 map, but you can. You're gonna burn through portals. That is what it is, right? This is League Start version of this build, but still killing stuff. So that's why you definitely want Leap Slam on here, though, because of how Frostblink works, right? You accidentally misclick, you are going to get stomped by something, right? Alright. Let's see how we can do with some single target. Probably can't. I don't know if we'll be able to kill this guy, actually. Maybe. This degen's kind of rough, but should be able to kill him. Yeah, there you go. Wasn't pretty, but it happened, right? Oh, well, that's it. As I said, you know, you definitely shouldn't be running T16 maps with this level of gear. But you can still kill bosses. It is definitely doable. It's not fun until you get a little bit higher level of gear. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. And if you are enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. And I hope you all have a great 3.25 League Start.